Alright, welcome back. And we are live for the second time tonight. Apologies for the delayed start. If you're just tuning in now, we had the qualifying of this F2 race, and after the qualifying, the feature race had begun, but unfortunately the lobby had messed up and made the qualifying grid in random order. So the lobby has now been restarted. The correct qualifying order has been restored, and we are ready to make tracks. So let's start fresh. My name is Eltonkie. I'll be the commentator for round 1 of this Formula 2 series. Round 1 takes us to Bahrain tonight, where Oz Formula has taken pole position, followed by Kickbutt, Scotty, Plevs, Goodwill, Tent, Banana Josh, Yara, Roscoe, Arm, Albino in P10, and then outside the top 10 positions we have Club Clifford, Junkyard Doggy, Jamie, and Combat Wombat. So as the drivers get ready to make a start for this 16-lap feature race around Bahrain, my goal is to follow as much of the close battles as possible. So the countdown to the red lights are on. 5 red lights, and away we go for round 1 at Bahrain of this F2 race. Good start there from Oz Formula, but Kickbutt Kiwi is holding his own there in P2 as all 16 make this run down to turn 1. Everyone being quite generous, leaving enough space, but 10 Sandals has gone round after a little bit of contact. That's no good. The exciting thing of a Formula 2 race is, because it is a Spec car series, what we often find is the battles are quite close. It's the nature of a Spec car series, and without any setups, the way that these cars are designed, it's quite easy to maintain some close battles as Kickbutt Kiwi makes it... Kickbutt Kiwi made an attempt down the inside there, but Oz Formula held his own. Who's that? Oh no. We start to see some dispersion. Xiara makes a great move up the inside of Banana, but Banana will fight back here with a little bit of extra pace. And order has been restored there. So after lap 1 we have Kickbutt Kiwi, my apologies, Oz Formula holding P1 as ignore the timing glitch on the top there. Oz Formula was P1, followed by Kickbutt Kiwi there in P2, who's trying to make a move down the outside at turn 1 of Oz Formula, then unable to do so. The timing glitch will be restored after the next lap also. So thanks for being patient with us there. Good old Cody's in EA back at it again, as I can't even tell who that is. Scotty making a move up the inside of Kickbutt Kiwi there, but Kickbutt Kiwi tries to fight back and does so. Keeps Scotty at bay there. Now all this fighting will really only benefit Oz Formula, who has clear track ahead of him. Now we know the pace that Kickbutt Kiwi and Scotty have. Let's see if they begin to trip each other up as they try to fight for that position 1. As Plevs makes a lovely move up the inside, as Scotty tries to fight back, but he just doesn't have the pace at that point, so Plevs moves up into P3. We know that Plevs has some pace, so expect him to really make a charge for those top 2 positions, but at the moment he rounds out the podium, and it looks like that timing glitch has finally been restored, so we are now nearing the end of the second lap. Oz Formula, our pole sitter, He's maintaining that position. As Kiwi goes around the outside, and has that caused a spin? No, it was almost a half spin there for his Formula. Let's see if he's able to make a move here with DRS also made available. Unable to do so there. And Plebs just lurking, knowing that Oz Formula and Kickbutt Kiwi will soon start to trip each other up. And he's hoping for the right time, the most opportune time to strike. There, side by side they go, Oz Formula and Kickbutt Kiwi. Now in that battle for P1, Scotty isn't all too far behind. Nor is Goodwill, or Banana Josh, or Yarrow for that matter. Roscoe, Jamie, Albino Josh, Ten Sandals, who took an early spin, has fought his way back to be on the same straight as the leader. But then we have a little bit of room back to Club Clifford, who'll be hoping to get himself up into at least that top 10. Junkyard, who had an incident early on, spun, lost positions. Unfortunately, Combat Wombat is at this stage well and truly out of the race, but hopefully he can fight back and get something going. Let's head back to the front. Kickbutt Kiwi and Oz Formula still continuing to do battle. Oz Formula, your pole sitter, keeping his lead. Kickbutt Kiwi, who was second, keeping that position too, but he's got DRS open, and look at that speed advantage he's got heading down the straight into turn 1, takes the inside. He's able to hold it. He is. Plebs has also followed as Oz Formula attempts to fight back around the outside, and look at that. Wow. Awesome move. He's taken that line and he's fought back to take back that first position, despite Kickbutt Kiwi having that DRS speed advantage down the straight. But as we know, 16 laps here, there's going to be plenty of opportunities heading back into turn 1. We'll see if Kickbutt Kiwi is able to give that one another go, or if he's going to change his tactic and change his line to see if he can have the inside heading out of turn 2 and into turn 3. So for those of you who are new to the world of Formula Racing, I've had a request to explain what DRS is. So DRS is when that rear wing opens up down the straight to give you a speed advantage. Heading down the straight makes overtaking that little bit easier. As Kickbutt Kiwi, without DRS there, attempts to move down the inside, but again, Oz Formula just has that pace advantage. As, oh, look at this. 3 wide, heading down into turn 1. DRS given to Plebs and Kickbutt Kiwi, and Oz Formula just simply can't compete because of that speed advantage. And heading out in front with the lead, Kickbutt Kiwi. A little bit of contact there with Plebs, but there's been a swap around of positions there. Oz Formula drops back from P1 into P3. Kickbutt Kiwi then moved himself up into first position. And Plebs, who's now trying to attempt a move through the S's. That's right on board with him. He's got the lead at the moment, but he's leaving enough space. He is. He's left enough space. But that's then forced Kickbutt Kiwi to get back into a battle with Oz Formula, who's going to have the inside line heading into turn 9. This very difficult trail-breaking turn. No lockups there, that's excellent. Enough space kept. Kickbutt Kiwi around the outside. And that rear wing open for both of them. That speed advantage, that rear wing flap opening up. Wow, this is an awesome battle here at the front. In fact, you can see, what's that? Almost 8 cars in the picture there. All 8 cars within a handful of seconds, all wanting that first position. Again, we'll be trying to follow along. Someone's rear wing's gone. Whose is that? We'll try to follow along to find the closest of the battles for this round 1 here at Bahrain. Interesting that Oz Formula, Plebs and Kickbutt Kiwi have all chosen to pit. Kickbutt Kiwi's been kept in the... Oh, that's no good. He's been kept in the pits as his teammate... has taken the position, and oh, he's going to drop back. Unfortunately for Kickbutt Kiwi. Coming out into 12th position. And considering he started up there at P2, he's going to want to claw back and fight back as much as possible to try to catch the likes of Oz Formula and Plebs, who held the lead before pitting there. So taking pit stops into account, we then have Plebs in essentially position 1, followed by Oz Formula half a second behind him. Yarra Boy then takes effective 3rd position, but his penalties, 5-second penalty, that will not be helping him at all. Let's look at these two Carlin teammates fighting for each other. So this is your battle here for 7th between Yarra Boy and Jamie. That's the closest battle on track at the moment. We'll see what Jamie's able to do with DRS as we head down the main straight here. Bit of oversteer is not going to help his acceleration out of that turn, but what will help his acceleration is that DRS. You can see that 0.6 second gap has well and truly been cut down now, as the second lot of pit stops, the second batch of pitters I should say, have gone in to pit. So that's the likes of Banana Josh, whose overcut has actually worked quite effectively, but not as well as Scotty, who's got himself into P2, splitting Plebs and Oz Formula. So his choice to pit later has worked wonders for him. He was in there for that battle of, where was he, about 4th or 5th or so, but pitting 1 lap later has spat him out into P2 as Oz Formula runs side by side with him. Let's try to get a good angle here. Makes that move up the inside, holds position as Scotty tries back around the... Oh, great racecraft shown by both of those drivers. So Oz Formula is able to get back his position, P2, and now he has the task ahead of making up essentially a 1 second gap to Plebs over this latter half of the race. He will have DRS, which certainly will help him cut that gap down as much as possible. You can see how powerful it is. From 9/10 at the start of DRS to turn 1, that has been cut down to pretty much 5/10 now. So thankfully the closest battle on track is really between these top 3 or 4 drivers. Again, we're having a look at these Carlin Racing teammates, Jamie and Yarra. Yarra at the moment keeping his nose in front, but again he has those penalties which will certainly have him fall back down the order come the checkered flag. Let's head back to the front here. So I'm curious as to the tactics of Oz Formula here. Is he just hoping to hang in there, use that DRS, save the tyres a little bit and then start to push as we come to the close of the race, or does he want to get ahead as soon as possible? And if he wants to get ahead as soon as possible, can he get ahead as soon as possible? That's one thing that we'll continue to keep an eye on as, again, we head down the main straight beginning lap 9. DRS, you can see how powerful it is. He does want to make a move. Heads down the inside here at turn 1. Locks up a little bit. Understeers the car. But he holds that position. Now Plebs, is he able to fight back? Now he's got the DRS. Moves around the outside here. Gets nice and wide. Give himself the best possible exit whilst leaving enough room on the inside. But Ozformula has taken that room on the inside and kept it running side by side. We had exceptional racecraft there through the S's. This is certainly a battle to watch. And the person who's really appreciating this is position number 3, Scotty. Now he knows that if he's able to hit his line, hit his apexes, get good exits out of these corners, Oz Formula and Plebs battling up ahead will only bring them back towards him, as it will to Banana Josh. I know that Banana Josh does have some exceptional pace. He's able to match it with the likes of Oz Formula and Plebs, so he's not going to be counting himself out here. He'll be hoping to make his moves up into the top couple of positions there. So if you are just joining us, we are 9 laps down into this 16 lap feature race, round 1 of the Formula 2 series here in Bahrain. We have essentially a 4-way battle for position 1. Plebs and Oz Formula trading positions. But Scotty and Banana Josh not too far behind. Just riding along here with Scotty so that we're able to watch this battle between Plebs and Oz Formula. You can really see how powerful that DRS is. It's one lap led by Plebs and the next lap led by Oz Formula, with a couple of nice turns of side-by-side racing throughout. Again, Scotty has joined this battle. Does he make a dive up the inside? He does, but he's not able to force Plebs out of position 2. So he maintains position 3. 4-way battle here for P1. Oz Formula, Plebs, Scotty and Banana Josh. Then we have quite a fair gap to Roscoe Arm in position number 5. He's kind of in his own little world at the moment. We've also been enjoying this battle between the Carlin Racing boys of Jamie and Yarraboy. Jamie's actually now gotten past Yarraboy, hasn't he? He has. And then a fair gap to Tent, who unfortunately had an incident in the first couple of turns, so he's dropped out. Let's try to keep the camera up here while I have a chat about the rest. Now, Kick Butt Kiwi, he started on position 2. His pit strategy is what got him in the end, choosing to pit behind his teammate. I believe it was his teammate, and because of that he was double stacked. And as we know in this game, the double stacking is absolutely atrocious, and he lost, well, it was really P2 or P3, wasn't he? He's lost 7 or 8 positions because of that error. And then after Kick Butt Kiwi, we have Goodwill, Club Clifford, Junkyard Doggy and Combat Wombat, who are unfortunately well and truly out of a good position here in this race. As Kick Butt Kiwi down in P9 overtakes Albino Josh. So we know Kick Butt Kiwi has the pace. He'll be hoping to get himself up as high as possible. Who's that? Oz Formula. He's spun. He's out. He's out of that battle, which now leaves Plebs, Scotty and Banana Josh as 3 remaining drivers for this top position. Didn't quite catch if Oz Formula was cut off or just had a little bit of a spin on these slippery curbs. As you know, the curbs are particularly slippery in this game, particularly unforgiving. So if you accelerate at the wrong time on these curbs, there's essentially no catching it. Even though these Formula 2 cars don't quite have the guts of the Formula 1 cars, the incorrect throttle application will still cause these cars to have a spin. But could that essentially be Plebs' main rival for tonight out of contention tonight? We will continue to keep an eye on this, continue to see his tent sandals. He's starting to make his way up, isn't he? He was in position 10 after that early spin within the first couple of laps, but he's made his way up into P6, which is very respectable. But that said, we do know the pace that tent sandals does have. So it's not surprising that he actually has come up quite a fair way, especially after that spin early on. So lap 12 out of 16 here at Bahrain, round 1 of the F2 series for Race Spec Season 5. And the gaps are really now starting to form. We're riding along with Scotty here as he attempts to claim P1 from Plebs. Now you might remember Scotty actually pit a lap later than Plebs. Andor's Formula and Kick Butt Kiwi for that matter, and Scotty has made that overcut work. He slotted right back into position 2, so that's worked wonders for him. But a fair gap now starting to form between Plebs and Scotty, so Plebs really starting to push, hoping to keep Scotty outside of that DRS. As you can see how powerful that is, that rear wing opening up, giving that extra speed boost. Remember, there are now 3 DRS zones after the addition of this current DRS zone, the Bahrain Grand Prix last year. So let's leave that battle for P1 between Pleb Scotty and Banana Josh. Had a heart and mouth moment there. And head back down through the order. So in position 4 is Roscoe Arm. Position 5 is Oz Formula, who was fighting for the lead for the first 2/3 of this race, and unfortunately had a spin out of the S's and lost about 7 or 8 seconds. 6 seconds back we have Tent Sandals, Jamie as well, Kick Butt Kiwi, hoping to make up some positions here. Again, Kick Butt Kiwi did lose a number of positions after being double stacked in the pits, so he'll be hoping to at least get himself up into 7th, and realistically that might be the best he's able to do. Goodwill currently in P9, Albino Josh currently in P10, and then as we start to head back through the field, Club Clifford, who hasn't had the race that he's wanted, Junkyard Doggy, Yarraboy, Combat Wombat currently in last position there in P14. So this gap being essentially maintained between Plebs and Scotty, position 1 and position 2. Scotty at the moment not really able to make that DRS work for him. We know how powerful it is in these F2 cars, especially around a power-hungry circuit like Bahrain. So he does gain quite a lot down these straights, but through the turns, through the corners, Plebs is just able to pull away, suffocate Scotty from really any chance of getting close enough to make a move at the end of these DRS straights. But Josh unfortunately unable to keep up with Scotty at the moment. He'll drop out of DRS range, and expect him to drop out of contention for those top 2 positions. But P3 looks fairly safe for him at the moment. Should he not have an incident, of course. Oz Formula takes the fastest lap. Two laps to go. What is Scotty able to produce here? Six tenths behind Plebs in position 1. Now you'd expect from here that if Plebs is able to keep his nerve, hit those lines that he needs to hit, get good acceleration out of the corners, Scotty shouldn't be able to catch him. But as we know, as you get towards the last lap, if you are leading the race, the nerves do start to kick in, and one small mistake here can really bring Scotty back into a position where he's able to strike. So this is the closest battle on track now, the battle for the lead of the race between Plebs and Scotty. And the gap not really changing all too much. So it's hung around that 5 tenths to 6 tenths interval for a number of laps now. What we're often finding is Scotty's able to make up some time down the straights with the aid of DRS and with the aid of the slipstream, but through the corners, Plebs just has that extra little bit of pace to keep him at bay. As we begin the final lap, the 16th and final lap of the feature race here at Bahrain, round 1 of the race spec Formula 2 F2 series here. Again, just another illustration of the power of DRS, bringing Scotty back into this race. He will have a look down the inside, but simply not close enough to attempt to make a pass there. We're going to stick with this battle for the remainder of the race because it is the closest battle on track, and then we'll start to run down through the grid. Scotty has clawed that gap though, from 6 tenths down to 2 tenths at the moment, with one DRS zone still to come. He will need a really good exit out of this turn, and is he going to get one there? A little bit of contact might have halted his progress. It has halted his progress a little bit. He got a little bit too keen and maybe had a little bit of a bump, or had to slam those brakes to stop that momentum. So from here you would expect that Plebs will complete the job here. He started P4, pit early, had a good battle with Oz Formula and Kick Butt Kiwi. Now Oz Formula, he did have a spin. Kick Butt Kiwi did get held up in the pits, and it all means that Plebs, this feature race, will cross the line in first. Scotty, P2, he gave it a really nice battle, but unfortunately wasn't able to get it done. Banana Josh crosses the line P3. He was in there with a chance but fell away the last handful of laps. Roscoe Arm makes his way up from 9th on the grid up to 4th. So he'll be super happy with that result. Oz Formula in P5. Unfortunately, he had an incident which saw him out of contention for that lead. Tent Sandals had an excellent fight back. Starting 6th, he had a spin within the first couple of corners, which put him plumb last, and he spent 16 laps clawing it back all the way up to 6th. So well done to him there. Kick Butt Kiwi again, unfortunately held up in the pits, which meant that his potential fight for victory was thwarted, and he was having to settle for P7. 8th, Jamie, who had a good battle with his teammate Yaraboy. Goodwill there in 9th. He'd be quite disappointed, especially after starting 5th on the grid. And unfortunately for the likes of Albino in P10, Club Clifford P11, and Junkyard P12, Yaraboy P13, and Combat Wombat in P14. They just weren't able to have the races that they wanted to have. But props to them for continuing to stick it out, finishing the race as well. And now we've got an exciting 12-lap race around Bahrain with a little bit of a mixed-up grid, which should keep things nice and exciting. So we'll see you very, very soon. So finalisation of the results there. Running down the grid, Plebs P1, followed by Scotty, Banana Josh, Roscoe Arm, Oz Formula, Tent Sandals, Kickbutt Kiwi, Jamie, Goodwill, and Albino Josh round out your top 10. From P11 we had Club Clifford, Junkyard Doggy, Yaraboy, and Combat Wombat finished in last place. Important to keep in mind that Oz Formula, despite having a spin and unable to fight for that race win, did also get 2 points for the fastest lap of the race. So that will also help his title hopes come the end of the season. Of course, we're not even close to the end of the season. A 15-round season here for the F2 Championship for Season 5 of Race Spec. We are here at round 1 in Bahrain. We just had our 16-lap feature race, and now we're going to have a 12-lap race with a bit of a jumbled up grid, so expecting some nice tight battles. Again, I'll be doing my best to follow these tight battles as close as possible to try to give you guys a little bit of excitement, especially after the disappointment of missing out on a proper race around Spa yesterday in the Real F1 Championship. Now I think we've had another glitch, haven't we? Yes, the grid isn't exactly as we need it to be, unfortunately. Cody strikes again. Oh, what a disappointment. Oh, that's no good at all. So we've had one glitch already where the feature race didn't start us off on the correct qualifying grid, so that had to be abandoned and restarted. And now the 12-lap sprint, which we're expecting a grid shake-up, has, what's that done? It's put them in order of that feature race, hasn't it? Which is exactly what we don't need or expect. So bear with us, we'll try to get things back in order, up and running as soon as possible.